There is very interesting to talk about, but we do just have a 1 hour tour today. So we all got something here for a little while. So I want to do is, I want to take you guys back to this day, as if you were here, as the day unfolded. Why this day even came about to begin with. Because a lot of things had to fall into place for this day to happen. So if you guys have any cell phones, kind of push you guys to put them on silent or vibrate. Because we're going to do a time warp into the past. And as soon as cell phone rings, it brings us right back into the present. And I'm going to keep you guys back to 1963 for the next hour. So let's get started. Yeah.
You can take questions along the way or afterwards?
Afterwards, we can do questions.
Like this way.
So folks, this is Dealey Plaza, and right here in Dealey Plaza, every day is November 22nd, 1963. People travel from all over the world to experience this, but to get the best experience of what it was like to be here, this unforgettable day in November, it helps to realize or remember what life was like for President Kennedy and America in the early 60s. The 60s was a tumultuous decade. It was full of hate. Civil rights was just gaining momentum. 50 years ago, everything was separated by race. And JFK, he was instrumental in ending that travesty and bringing civil rights to America. Also in the early 60s, the space program was just getting started. In 1957, the Russians launched a space satellite called Sputnik. The world was very surprised at how successful that launch was. But President Kennedy, he vowed that America would be the first to put a man on the moon. Also in 1963, communist aggression was spreading around the world. Most of Eastern Europe was forced to communism by the Soviet Union. And just 90 miles off America's shores is an island called Cuba. Well, 50 years ago, that island was nothing more than an arm of Soviet Russia. And a little more than a year before the president visits right here in Dallas, the United States is on the brink of nuclear war. It's called the Cuban Missile Crisis. And President Kennedy, he went on television and he gave the most frightening broadcast in history.
It shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response from the Soviet Union.
Now folks, that was the atmosphere here in America in 1963. Now 1 month prior to President Kennedy's visit, the UN ambassador Adlai Stevenson was here. Folks, there was an incident. He was heckled, he was spat on, he was even hit over the head with a sign. So as Dallas is preparing for the visit of President Kennedy, this is what is going on.
This is Mayor Earl Campbell of Dallas, Texas, the town that's getting ready. The city that's getting ready for the visit very shortly of the President of the United States. Your city encountered some rather unfortunate publicity here a month ago with the visit of Ambassador Stevenson.
My dear friend, I don't have to come here from Illinois to teach Texas matters, do I?
Few pickets as you have everywhere in the United States. There will probably be a few on the radical right wing, possibly a few of the radical left wing. But sincerely, we anticipate no trouble.
Now folks, that was the mayor of Dallas saying they anticipated no trouble on President Kennedy's visit. So why was JFK coming to Texas? Now historians, they will tell you it's because there is a dispute here in Texas amongst Democrats. And JFK was coming down to fix things up, if you will. But President Kennedy, he could have handled that with a telephone call. That's not why he came to the state. Right here in Texas in 1963, it was dripping with oil. Money was flowing everywhere. You could get in your automobile and drive just about down any one of these county roads, and and you would see oil wells pumping on private land. If you were a landowner, you were probably a millionaire. There were more millionaires in the state of Texas in 1963 than in any other state in America, including California and New York. So that's why President Kennedy was coming. He had a re-election come up in 64, and it was the television age. And he wanted some of that Texas money. Now, President Kennedy, he did come to Texas, but not when you're thinking. He came months before in June of 1963. He went to El Paso, Texas, and he met with two men there. The first is his Vice President, LBJ. The second is the Governor of Texas, John Connally. And at this meeting, Governor Connally, he said this to the President. Mr. President, what's on your mind, sir? President Kennedy replies, Governor, I want to come down to Texas and do a fundraiser in November. And I want to do a 5-trip stop. Governor Connally says, Mr. President, don't do a 5-trip stop. Just do one. Come down to Austin, the capital. We will throw you a grand fundraiser. You will make more money at this one fundraiser than you will doing all 5 of the small ones. But the Kennedys, they were insistent. So it was set to go to Texas in November. San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas, and then Austin. And motorcades are planned for every one of those cities. And President Kennedy, he did do motorcades in San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth. But the motorcade here in Dallas was different. You see, they have not finalized all the plans yet. They don't know when they're going to have the fundraiser. Folks, the motorcade here in Dallas, it was not finalized and decided upon until just 4 days before. Well, the motorcade, it leaves Dallas Love Field at 11:50 in the morning, and it comes right down Harwood Street, which is the street you're on right now. Well, between Dallas Love Field and downtown, the motorcade, it got stopped twice. There were some people with some signs on the side of the road that said, Mr. President, please stop and shake our hands. So President Kennedy, he told his driver to pull over, and he shook their hands. So it was raining earlier that morning in Fort Worth when the president was having breakfast at the Chamber of Commerce, and he gave a speech right outside the Hotel Texas. But by the time they landed in Dallas, it was a beautiful day, 68 degrees, and the weather determined whether they would use the bulletproof bubble on the back of the limousine. Folks, with this turn of Main Street, this is where it all begins. Let me set the scene for you. Really focus on this. 30,000 people. A mob on both sides of the street as far as your eye can see. And every window in downtown has a face looking out. Folks, presidents, they did not come to Texas. But here was John F. Kennedy and his wife coming right down Main Street of Dallas. The nearest parking spot was 15 blocks away in either direction. And every time the president waves, that big mob of people push against the police line, coming in the streets, slowing the cars down. The Dallas Times-Herald was one of the newspapers in '63. And upon hearing the news from the motorcade, they printed the exact route in the newspaper 3 days prior. So the people of Dallas could come down and give President Kennedy and his wife a big Texas welcome. But if you would have been here on November 22nd, 1963, and if you wanted to shoot and kill the President of the United States, folks, it would have been easy to do. He's in a convertible, and a mob of people in a high-rise city, going as fast as you're going right now. No way that a politician do this today. But back then, It was a time of innocence.
Here comes the first car with police chief Jeff Curry and Sheriff Bill Victor. And here is the President of the United States. And one is proud, and one is the good one. He's getting down. There are people absolutely looking from every window here down to the building. They're going further down and just about now. And we can see far, far down on Main Street towards Dillon Freeway. The motorcade is just about to reach the location of the county courthouse.
So now they have to figure out where this fundraiser at. The Kennedys, they wanted to be held at the Women's Youth Building, which is located in Fair Park, which is behind us on Eastern Park State. Governor Connolly, he wants it to be held at the Trademark. He says, guys, let's do this at the Trademark. If on the way back from the airport it's easier, let's just do it there. Well, they debated about this. And finally, Governor Connolly, he throws his hands up, he says, guys, if we don't do this at the Trademark, I'm out. So the Kennedys, they gave in, and it was set to be held at the Trademark. And folks, that changed everything. The motorcade route is supposed to just go down Main Street, but you cannot get to the Trademark from Main Street. The Trademark is located on the 7th Freeway. When you get to 7th Freeway, they put the right-hand turn on Houston and the left-hand turn on Elm. Because that's how you get there. And by putting those two turns into the motorcade now goes right past the Texas School Book Depository building. So you see, President Kennedy, he really trusts Governor Connolly. Before becoming governor of Texas, John Connolly, he served under Kennedy as his Secretary of the Navy. And as governor of Texas, John Connolly, he has an 81% approval rating. And you guys know politics, that's unheard of. That means that everybody loves you. So President Kennedy, he really trusts Governor Connolly. And Governor Connolly, he is the architect of the entire Texas trip. Except for one thing. The motorcade right here in Dallas. He says, Mr. President, don't do a motorcade through Dallas. It'll get you very tired. We need you fresh for the fundraiser. Mr. President, you make a lot more money when you're fresh. You see, President Kennedy, he has a very bad back. And on this day, he is wearing a very thick corset and an ace bandage wrapped in a figure 8 around his body.